Hello there, I'm Renno and this is another video for tipsquirrel.com, the free collaborative tutorial website for everything Photoshop, Lightroom, Camera Raw and Elements. In this video I'll be making this design on a coffee cup. I'll be using an image from the Fotolia stock image website, but there are alternatives. Of course you can take your own or try out images from a free stock site. I've found Cup Coffee with Crema 1 and Coffee Beans on Stock Exchange. There'll be links to these images accompanying this video on tipsquirrel.com. The image I'm using isn't free but is available from Fotolia. It's called Coffee Cup and it's by Cafina. Okay, let's get started. Besides the coffee cup, you're going to need a copy of what you want to be in it. In my case, I'm using a copy of the Tipsquirrel logo. You'll notice it's a simple black and white image, and the simpler the better. Using the Move tool, I'm just going to drag that across and onto my image and drop it down. Control T to transform, and then using the handles here I can make it bigger and smaller. I'm going to hold Shift so as it constrains the proportions, and I can move that into place. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. And now I need to turn it around just slightly, so I'm going to bring my cursor outside of the bounding box and just turn it very slightly. There we go. I'm happy with that. Maybe that's a little bit too big. There we go. And I'm going to click the tick to accept the changes. Now let's change the colour of this. So let's go and get a colour to start with. Now I'm going to use the Eyedropper tool, and I'm going to press I and hold down I on the keyboard for my eyedropper, and then making sure that I'm on 3x3, which is about right for this image. I'm going to go and find a nice dark brown, something like that. In fact, that's what it already was, wasn't it? Never mind. Let's make sure that we've got the right colour. Now I want to add it into my logo. So I'm going to rename my layer here as logo so I know where I am. And I'm going to press Control or Command if you're on a Mac on the keyboard, and then go up to the thumbnail of this logo layer, and you'll notice that my pointer changes to a finger pointer with a squared dotted line. Okay, if I click now, I've selected the pixels on that layer. Exactly what I wanted to do. Now that dark brown I chose just a moment ago is my foreground colour, which means if I press Alt and Backspace, it's going to fill the selection with that colour. Control D to deselect, and sure enough, there's my brown squirrel. Okay, it's looking a little bit too perfect, so I need to give that a little bit of a blur. So Filter and Blur and Gaussian Blur and just a slight bit of blur, maybe 2 pixels. And click OK. Now for the next step, I need this logo layer to be a smart object. So I'm going to right click on it and choose Convert to Smart Object. Now I can add another blur. Filter, Blur and Gaussian Blur, and this time I'm going to give it quite a significant amount of blur. In fact, 7 pixels works well for this. You'll see I've just about managed to keep some detail, and that's about where I want it. I'll click OK. Now because this is a smart object, I can go back and I can change that whenever I like. But I also have another option. Over here on the right hand side, you'll see that there's a little icon that looks like 2 sliders. I can double click that and it brings up blending options for this Gaussian blur. I can change the opacity if I wish. I don't need to at this case. And I can change the blend mode of the Gaussian blur. Now in my case I want it to be screen, but feel free to have a little look at other ways that you could do this. I'm going to go back to screen and press OK. Now I just need to change the blending mode of the layer completely. So from normal, I want to change it to one of these darkeners. In fact, in this case, linear burn does the trick very well. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see that where this logo is interacting with the foam underneath, I've got the darkness from the shadow, which means I can move around this and it will always keep the darkness where the shadow is, exactly as it should be. Good. Finally, I need to give this a little bit of depth, so I'm going to go next to the word logo, double click to bring up my layer styles, and I'm going to go to Bevel and Emboss. Now this needs to be very subtle, so I actually want an emboss, smooth, about 50%, down, 6 pixels, 6 pixels. Now yours may differ depending on what resolution you're using, of course. I don't want to use global light. I do want the light coming in from this kind of direction. It's about where it is now. And there we are. If I turn this on and off, you can see just how subtle it is, but it does give that appearance of 3 dimensions. I'll click OK. Control 0 to fit the image on screen, and there we are. We're all done. My name's Renno. This was a video for tipsquirrel.com, 100% free thanks to the generosity of its contributors. So we of course appreciate any likes, any pins or any Google Pluses that you may feel you want to give us. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.